What I'm holding here is called a Forever bottle. It's from a company called ZeroCo. They're a sustainability company, and their mission is to try to eliminate plastic waste and transport emissions, which are two of the biggest killers of modern society that's just plagued by Uber Eats and Amazon orders. But this is not a paid promotion. It's just an issue that's quite close to my heart, so I wanted to tell you about my experience with them. So it's a system designed to work so much better than just buying single-use plastic from the supermarket all the time. You get the Forever bottle to keep all your products in, and they'll send you these refill packets. And then when you've collected enough of these packets, you can send them back and they'll reuse them. So they send you a little mailer bag, and when you've collected enough of the pouches, you can send them back to them and they'll reuse them. What they want you to do is wait until you've got 15 of the empty refill pouches until you send them back. And 15 might seem like a lot. I mean, it certainly did to me, so I asked them if they could clarify the logic behind this system. And of course, being a sustainability company, they're super mindful of their carbon footprint, and they don't want to send out little items on their own. At which point you might ask, like I did, if the purpose of that is to reduce the carbon emissions specifically from the delivery of the item, I mean, by that logic, to minimize the emissions for delivery, you should order 15 at a time, rather than doing any kind of subscription model that would send you regular refills at regular intervals, thereby creating lots of emissions. And you'll wonder why they don't have a bulk order option for single items as opposed to that subscription model. You might even naively ask, I'm assuming that you've done the maths on what causes more pollution, and ask them if creating all this new plastic outweighs the damage from the delivery emissions. And they'll assure you it's fine. And you'll ask, are you sure you're not just delaying inevitable landfill rather than minimizing it? And they'll be like, nah, not at all. So after being with them for 6 months and having made 3 orders, you then go, well, the sensible thing to do is then order the next 9 pouches that I need to get to 15 in one bulk order. And I'll just keep them until I'm done with them. And then more than a year will go by before you've even finished half of what you've ordered. And they'll email you with this huge announcement saying that they've totally changed their whole system. And they're replacing all the plastic pouches with paper-based refills. And the Forever bottles are getting a facelift, and it's a whole new Forever bottle that you need to fit all of the new refills. And the reason they give you for doing that is because after 5 years in business, their recycling rate was only 42% of their customer base, and they hadn't got any of the plastic packets back. And you'll try desperately to explain to them that you're part of the 58% because you've been hoarding plastic. Surely there's loads of other people in a similar boat to me, because it's taken me more than 3 years just to accumulate the 15 packets you needed. And when you ask them about this, you'll get a response that says, yeah, you still got to collect the 15 even though we're abandoning this system. And it turns out that response is from an AI customer service agent. And you're like, steady on. I thought you were a sustainability company and you're using a planet-killing clanker to do admin for you, which is clearly ass backward as fuck. And then you find yourself arguing with a robot trying to explain if you'd had a better system, that 42% recycle rate would have been higher. And by making me keep all this single-use plastic that you've now created, you're simply transferring the burden of it over to your customers, which I asked you about over a year ago, because it's now March 2025 when we're having this conversation. And you just start to wonder if I, a really mentally unstable musician, can work that kind of thing out just because I have basic logical faculties and primary school arithmetic. Surely the guy who decided to set up this business did some research. And then after you've been holding onto these packets for 3 years, a month after that email exchange, they'll shut down. They will go out of business before you've even had a chance to send back one shipment of refill packets. And it just becomes another in a long list of massive disappointments and painful disillusionments about a world that you were promised that would be populated with adults who had training and knowledge and capability, for whom there were checks and balances, which would mean you couldn't get a job unless you had the necessary qualifications and capability. And it turns out that you're just living in this Wild West free-for-all where anybody can just decide that they want to do something even if they are fucking clueless about it. And you despair and you keep thinking of the words from each according to their ability. And then you can go to koh.com.au, that's KOH, and they still have a series of sustainable products available for you to buy.